What's going on, YouTube? Brandon here, and it's been a long time since I've done one of these, but I'm very excited. I just got myself a new sword. I hadn't gotten one in a long time because I already had some, and swords are pretty much decorative or just for training purposes, but I finally justified it because they had a sale. So let's see what I got. Ta-da! Yes. And those of you who follow contemporary swords at all already know what this is. This is a Zombie Tools Decapitan Sabre. This sword they released about a year or two ago. It replaced their Decapitan Cutlass, which I really didn't like. I thought it was too heavy. This is a beautiful sword, and it fit my dimensions perfectly. I've trained in Filipino martial arts for about 8 years now, specifically a very heavily sword-based one. And we have specific dimensions for what we want in our blades, and this one matched my dimensions perfectly. So it's been on my wish list for a while. I ordered this sword about three and a half months ago, I think, maybe 3 months ago, kind of as a Christmas gift to me. They had a sale. I got 10% off. So I didn't get the sword for free or anything like that. I ended up paying, I think, $398 or $97 for it. So this is my money I spent. It comes from the factory in this nice Kydex sheath. I believe you can request leather if you want. I don't know if it's an extra cost, but I was fine with the Kydex. It doesn't have any type of loop or anything like that to attach it to a belt, but because of the see-through rivets they use, you could easily thread some paracord through there and create a holster or a strap system for it. So, Kydex sheath, that's out of the way. Let's get on to the blade. So I'll just kind of let you look at it for a second here. So I haven't even cleaned it off yet from the factory. It came in a USPS priority mail box, and it had shrink wrap and like oil and stuff on the blade. So you can see there's still a little oil on there. There's some little residue from the Kydex. It's still fresh, but really, really good looking blade. Okay, it has a really nice acid etched finish. I think it's really cool. Some people don't like it. I love it. Okay, so let's go through some dimensions. I'll just do them by memory, the ones I can remember, and then you can look at the rest on the website if you're really interested. So the entire blade is 34 inches long. Okay, the weight of the blade is 2 pounds 4 ounces, or 36 ounces. That's a little bit heavy for this length of a saber. You know, historically, if you're going like a 1897, I think it is, like British military or officer saber, you would get at least a couple more inches of blade for the weight that this one is. So this one's a little bit short and stocky for a saber. I would say historically this would fall more into the realm of a cutlass, but if they want to call it a saber, that's fine with me. The blade geometry is definitely saber-esque, so I like that. So yeah, I think the blade portion is 27 inches, and then this hilt portion is 7 inches, and the grip is 4 inches. As far as the widths, I don't really remember them off the top of my head. You'd have to look at their website. It's made out of 5160 steel, which has been hardened to 55 Rockwell. And yeah, that's kind of all the anatomy I can remember off the top of my head. So we'll start stern, and we'll work towards the stem here, and we'll just kind of go through it. So, first things first, this has a really cool design. The entire blade and the guard and the hilt, its full tang, is all integral. It's all one piece of steel. So this, everything. It's really nice and solid. That's something I really liked about it. So yeah, the hilt is basically the integral. It has a D guard here, which can also function as a brass knuckle. And it has a full tang all the way through. The handle scales are aluminum, and then they're held in place by rivets onto the tang. And then the whole grip is wrapped in kind of a leather. I believe it's just leather. Yeah. That's it. So it's very simple construction, but simple's good. Less things to break, solid in the hand. It fits my hand perfectly. I love the D-guard. Great design. Can't complain. Okay, so moving on up, we have a little bit of a thumb ramp right here, a little bit of a quill on, not much. So if you are interested in doing like a traditional saber grip with the thumb up, there's a nice little cutout ramp for you to rest your finger on. Additionally, this could provide a little bit of protection in the event, you parried someone and the blade slipped down, it could catch it right there. So that's good. The front you don't have to worry about because of the D-guard, okay? It has no lateral quillons, so, keep that in mind. It's not as protective as like a basket hilt saber would be. Moving up from there, we have just a very, very small ricasso right here with a little bit of a finger choil on the front. So if you want to choke up on the blade and put the finger above the guard, you could do that. Get a little bit more precision. It definitely feels good in the hand. I think the point of balance, let's see here. Point of balance seems to be about 5 inches or so. 4 or 5 inches, so pretty good. But if you want to get a little bit more precision in your work, you can move your finger up and that'll change the point of balance a little bit, make it a little bit more lively in the hand. But I think it feels good. Okay, so once we get to the ricasso, the initial plunge line right here, I believe it's a saber grind. It looks, so the primary bevel appears to be a saber grind, and I think the edge is also a saber grind as well. Yeah. So we have a saber grind, and then a secondary is a saber grind as well, all the way up. Very nice. We also have another bevel that is actually going towards the spine of the blade to reduce weight and keep the balance correct. It's about a 2/3. The ridge where the bevels intersect is about 2/3 of the way up the blade. Moving to the spine, you can see the cutout starts right here, the plunge line. One thing I'll note about this blade, everything is symmetrical. Really, really good attention to detail. Every plunge line is pretty much identical, if you can see that. That's something I look for in swords. If I'm looking at them, I always look at the plunge lines, if they're symmetrical or not. Usually they're just slightly off. This sword, every part of it, if you look at the front there too, is symmetrical. So that's really, really good attention to detail. I like that. The blade features a distal taper all the way from the fort all the way down to the foible, although the spine itself does not. So once we get about here, the spine remains the same thickness all the way to the tip, if you can see that. But the blade itself, all the way through, it is distal tapered. As you go down, you can feel it getting narrower and narrower as you approach the tip, okay? So once we get towards the tip, this has an unsharpened false edge. I may actually put an edge on it because I like that, but for now it doesn't. There's no swedge or anything at the tip. It just sweeps right into a nice point. Nothing too crazy. Yep. Okay, and that's basically all there is to the sword. I mean, you can see here. Let me see if I can get the symmetry of the tip here. Yeah, so again, everything's symmetrical. Really, really nice. Like I said, it's saber ground. The edge bevel, the secondary bevel, it seems a little bit steep, which will lead to a stronger edge at the expense of some cutting power. So I would say this blade is about a 7 of 10 as far as sharpness from the factory is concerned. I think that has to do just with the angle of the grind they decided to put in it. They decided to go more towards robust rather than razor sharp, which is fine. So I may reprofile it later, but I got to chop some stuff with it first, have some fun with it, and see what happens. So my overall thoughts on the blade, I love it. It's perfect for my dimensions. It feels good in the hand. This is going to be my new favorite for sure, because it's the only blade I have that actually fits me correctly. So I'm very excited to give it a try. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything more I can say about it. I'm not going to do any cutting tests or anything with it right now on video, to be honest. You can cut with any sword if you sharpen it correctly. So down the road, I do have an old motorcycle helmet that I'm going to try hacking up with this just to see how they both fare, but I'm not going to do that today. So yeah, this is the Zombie Tools Decapitan Sabre. Beautiful sword. I think it's well worth the money for what you're getting. And like I said, the lead time is very long, about 3.5 months. But again, I waited until they had a sale. I got it for 10% off. So if you guys are interested, they have a website. You can just Google them, Zombie Tools. They have quite a few different blades of different styles, but this is the only one that really caught my eye. So I'm very pleased with it, and that's all I have to say. All right, if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and I will try to get back to you. All right, thanks.